I'm Mike Hayes with Mike's AI 2-minute briefs for the time of your life. We are done with confusion. We are restoring our lives with AI and moving into abundance as the AI bloomers by growing more reasonable relationships, where we finally have the power to understand everything from our new cars to our doctors just by listening. To show you how simple it is to learn on the go, I'm handing the microphone to my team at AIPodcastListening.com. They guide me, and they will guide you too. Just listen and learn.
What if the generation we thought was left behind by tech is actually about to lead the next revolution?
For years, the story's been that baby boomers just can't keep up with technology. But what if that's all wrong?
A new idea suggests they're in the perfect spot to master the next big technological leap.
They're being called the AI bloomers. So what's that all about?
First, let's just talk about money. Boomers control a massive 50 to 70% of all U.S. household wealth.
But this isn't just about the cash. It's about influence and a whole new kind of power they're stepping into.
And here's their secret weapon. It's not the money. It's decades of context and nuance. That's gold for AI.
This is a total game changer because, you see, AI doesn't care how fast you type. It cares how clearly you think.
To get why this is so huge, think of AI like a giant oil field. And reasoning? Well, that's the crude oil.
Right now, though, most of us are using it for pretty simple stuff, like asking questions or writing emails.
That's basically like picking up a few drops of oil on the sand, totally missing the massive reservoir right below.
The real power, the life-changing stuff, comes from tapping into that deep well. So, how do you actually do that?
You stop treating AI like a typewriter and start treating it like a thinking partner. It's a total shift. There's a simple 3-step approach. You reason with AI, explain yourself to it, and treat it like a co-pilot.
And when you start partnering with AI this way, something really powerful happens. You start to bloom.
And this blooming happens everywhere, in clarity, communication, confidence, you name it, right across the board.
See, the key is this. AI doesn't replace their life experience. It releases it. It amplifies all that wisdom. This is huge for relationships, too. It turns lifelong skills, like listening, into actual superpowers for connection.
So you get this amazing synergy. Boomers bring the human reason, and the AI brings the machine reasoning.
And together, they create something totally new. It's called reasonability.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What's the bottom line on all this?
Well, some are calling this the most powerful partnership of the century. Just think about that for a second.
It leaves us with one big question. What happens when a lifetime of wisdom meets the reasoning engine of the future?
And usually, it includes a story about who's getting left behind. But what if that entire story is completely backward? What if one generation isn't just catching up, but is actually perfectly positioned to lead the way?
It really is the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? The popular idea is that baby boomers, the so-called pre-digital generation, are on the sidelines, struggling to find their footing, while technology just races ahead. But is that really what's happening? Let's take a closer look.
Okay, to really get this, we have to start by tackling the myth head-on. This is the old tech story, the one we're all so used to hearing about seniors and their relationship with anything new and digital. You know the one. The story goes that they're overwhelmed, trying to navigate this new world of algorithms and prompts that just wasn't built for them. It's a narrative that paints them as just trying to catch up, like passengers on a high-speed train they never learned how to drive. But honestly, it's time to flip that script entirely.
Because a totally new identity is emerging in this new era. It's a complete reframing of the story. And it's not based on what this generation lacks, but on the unique superpowers they already possess. So let's meet the AI bloomers.
So what exactly are AI bloomers? Well, this term was coined by Mike Hayes, and it describes baby boomers who are tapping into what he calls AI reasonability. Now think of it like this. It's the skill of using AI, not just for simple, boring tasks, but as a real thinking partner to enhance communication, deepen relationships, and amplify their personal power in ways that were never possible before.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this huge shift in thinking. It's not about fading out of relevance. It's about aging into a new kind of power, where a lifetime of experience finally gets to combine with the most powerful tool ever created.
And this is the crucial point. AI isn't here to replace their experience, it's here to release it. It allows them to bloom all over again, using their accumulated wisdom to find brand new clarity, communicate more effectively than ever, and make contributions that really matter.
So this brings us to a really critical question. What is it that gives this generation such a unique advantage right now? Why, all of a sudden, is experience more valuable than sheer speed in the age of AI?
This right here, this single insight is the game changer. For the very first time, we have a technology that doesn't care who can type the fastest or click the quickest. Nope, it rewards who can think the clearest. And, well, that changes absolutely everything.
Let's just put this side by side for a second. Younger generations, sure, they might be digital natives, but boomers, they're wisdom natives. They bring context, nuance, and plain old common sense thinking to the table, which, it turns out, are the exact skills that these new reasoning AIs depend on. They just naturally explain things better and ask better questions, which makes them ideal partners for these systems. And this wisdom advantage, it's backed by some serious influence. There's another huge piece to this puzzle, and it's an economic one. This number, this represents the estimated percentage of all U.S. household wealth that's controlled by the baby boomer generation.
And listen, that's not just some small detail. It makes them the single most influential financial force in the country, period. As the largest group of homeowners, loyal customers, and stable investors, their decisions literally shape the entire economy. So when you combine that economic power with their wisdom and then amplify it with AI, wow, that becomes a truly formidable combination.
All right, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you actually unlock this potential? Let's get into the practical side of things. It's all about shifting how you think about AI, from using it as a simple gadget to using it as a true partner.
I love this metaphor because it's so perfect. See, most people are just scratching the surface, picking up a few drops of oil here and there. They ask for simple answers or quick tasks, but the real value, the raw, untapped power, lies in tapping into AI's incredible ability to reason.
So what this really means is shifting your entire perspective. Instead of treating AI like a vending machine you just visit for a quick answer, you start treating it like a co-pilot for your thinking. It stops being a faster typewriter and starts becoming a powerful decision amplifier.
So how do you actually do it? Well, it really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, stop asking for static answers. Instead, ask AI to reason with you. Invite it to explore options and think through problems together. Second, give it the context it needs. Explain your situation, your goals. And third, don't just pop in for one-off tasks. Make it a continuous co-pilot in your projects and your thinking.
Let's make this super concrete. Just look at the difference between a simple prompt and a reasoning prompt. A simple one might be, give me a list of local volunteer opportunities. Okay, you get a list. That's it. But a reasoning prompt, that's an invitation to go way deeper. It sounds more like this. Think this through with me step by step. I want to contribute my project management experience to a local cause. What are my options, and what are the trade-offs for each one? Now, that is how you start tapping into the real treasure.
And when you make this shift, the impact is just profound. This isn't just some theoretical idea. It leads to real, tangible outcomes and a whole new sense of what's possible.
The result is what's being called mental abundance. You actually feel supported in your thinking, which transforms all that confusion into pure clarity. You can see your path forward like you're using a giant lighthouse instead of a tiny matchstick. It's about making better, smarter choices with a true co-pilot right there by your side. And really, that's the core message here. Tapping into AI's ability to reason with you is the master skill that unlocks everything else. It is the direct path forward to a life filled with way more clarity, creativity, and connection.
So, I'll just leave you with this final question. AI is ready to be your partner, to amplify your decades of experience and release your wisdom into the world. The only question left is, what wisdom could you bloom?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking a concept that is, well, it's fundamentally reshaping who holds the reins of power in the age of artificial intelligence.
He really is.
We are diving into something called AI reasonability, and specifically why the baby boomer generation, the one often miscategorized as digitally lagging, is in fact positioned to be the most influential and successful AI generation yet.
And that's a bold claim, I know, but the sources we're looking at, they back it up completely. We're examining these really detailed notes and foundational frameworks from the Senior AI Foundation.
Right.
And this is centered around the work of a guy named Mike Hayes. His whole focus is on empowering seniors, so 65 and up, which he actually calls the new 40.
I like that.
Yeah, and he sees AI not just as, a productivity tool, but as a pure amplifier for the immense wisdom and life clarity this generation already has.
Our sources emphasize a really crucial point here. AI needs guidance, and wisdom is, it's the ultimate guide. Mike Hayes, who is 77 himself, has dedicated this work to helping his audience locate their true voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
The mission, it's pretty clear, to leverage AI safely and without getting bogged down in all the jargon, to filter out the noise, find objective truth, and achieve these three fundamental human goals: abundance, connection, and control.
And that emphasis on safety and non-technical language is so key to our discussion. We really need to adopt the conceptual vocabulary he uses to make this whole thing accessible. We're going to be talking about reasonology.
Reasonology. Okay.
Yeah, which is basically the study of how human context and experience, fuse with machine intelligence to get to a superior kind of reasoning.
So we'll be using these concepts as our touchstones then.
Yeah.
For example, he talks about treating AI as your board of advisors.
Yeah.
Which means you're gathering multiple structured opinions before you make a move.
Right, exactly.
Or creating a library within your AI environment, which is a dedicated, secure space for deep document analysis and learning, keeping your personal insights totally private.
Exactly. This is not just about using ChatGPT to write an email. Not at all. This is about establishing a real structural framework to sort of harvest wisdom and make better life decisions.
Right.
So our goal is to explain how this framework works, define why clarity, and this is a big one, clarity, not speed, is the new currency.
Okay.
And show you exactly how this demographic, whom we're calling the AI bloomers, is tapping into a gold mine of strategic power that has, well, it's just been waiting for them. We are taking the shortest, most thorough route to being truly well-informed on this topic. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right, so when we talk about the immense power of artificial intelligence, most of the conversations, they seem to center on the surface level. Typing in a prompt, getting an instant answer, whether it's summarizing an article or, drafting a quick email.
The usual stuff.
Yeah, the usual stuff. But as Mike Hayes' work really emphasizes, if you approach AI this way, you are missing the vast transformative potential that's lurking just beneath the surface.
It's the difference between seeing a giant structure and actually understanding its foundation. The instant answer, the quick summary. That's AI as a service provider.
Right.
But we are moving into the age of AI as a strategic partner, and for that, you have to understand the fundamental resource it runs on.
He uses a fantastic analogy to explain this value gap, one that just resonates immediately. The oil field.
It's a great one.
Yeah, if you view the entire ecosystem of large language models and generative AI as a massive, virtually limitless oil field, the immediate question is, what's the valuable resource inside that field?
And the resource isn't the output. The resource is the input that drives the best output. So if AI is that vast resource, the oil field, then reasoning is the crude oil itself. Reasoning is the raw power source. When crude oil is tapped, extracted, refined, and, utilized correctly, it creates heat, light, movement, wealth, and profound abundance across the entire economy. It literally changes the nature of society.
So if you are just typing prompts and asking for simple, immediate answers like, what's the capital of France, or write me a one-sentence summary of this article, what are you actually doing within this oil field analogy? Where are you?
According to the source, that's like picking up a few drops of oil on the sand.
Wow.
You're just operating on the outskirts of the field, grabbing the smallest, most immediate, and frankly, least valuable payoff. You're getting a tiny return for zero effort, but you're completely failing to utilize the massive infrastructure that's available to you. You're missing the reservoir entirely.
So it's the difference between scraping the surface and, I guess, building a complex drilling operation.
Exactly.
The life-changing abundance, the strategic long-term value, it doesn't come from those surface drops. It comes from learning how to tap the deep reservoir that's beneath the field. And that reservoir is strategic step-by-step reasoning.
And that's the pivot.
This is where AI stops being a high-speed gadget and starts being a strategic business partner.
The moment AI is used for reasoning, it stops being a simple information retrieval tool and becomes a true thinking partner. You are inviting the AI deeper into the most complex and critical decisions of your life and your business, leveraging its computational strength to either validate or challenge your human experience.
What exactly does a thinking partner do that a simple Q&A tool just doesn't?
Well, a thinking partner provides structure and process. It helps you think through these high-stakes, multi-layered decisions. It helps you map out new and often unseen paths for, say, retirement or business growth.
Okay.
It helps solve systemic long-term problems. And critically, it runs intensive what-if scenarios across multiple variables. It also, and this is key, it forces you to clarify your purpose and your next steps.
The output, then, isn't just a quick summary. It's a detailed, reasoned argument for a specific course of action, complete with an analysis of potential failure points.
Yes.
And focusing on this shift from answers to reasoning unlocks 3 major practical outcomes for the user. And it starts with a massive gain in future visibility.
Right. The first outcome is seeing further. This is the strategic advantage. Reasoning AI lets people preview their future paths with greater clarity than ever before.
And this is where the source uses another powerful analogy, right? The difference between operating by a lighthouse and operating by a matchstick.
That's it. And that distinction is so critical for decision making.
So explain that difference.
While most people live their lives holding a matchstick, they see only the few steps right in front of them, constantly reacting to immediate needs, quarterly goals, or unexpected financial obstacles.
Right.
Their worldview is just constrained by this tiny circle of light they can generate instantly. And this leads to reactive decisions based on immediate pressures, which often results in high-stakes errors or missed opportunities.
I can absolutely see that. I mean, if you're running a small business or making a high-stakes medical decision and you only see the immediate data, you're highly susceptible to panic or pressure.
Exactly. But when you learn to tap that reasoning reservoir, the AI acts as a lighthouse. It doesn't just show you the rock immediately in front of the boat. It illuminates the entire coastline. It shows you the hazards hundreds of miles away, reveals the deep, safe channels, and points toward your ultimate destination.
So that capability leads to navigation instead of just reacting.
That's it.
It removes the element of frantic guessing from critical life decisions, whether those decisions relate to legacy planning, health, or maybe a career transition.
It's a total game changer.
So the second benefit that comes from reasoned analysis is efficiency. And it's a huge driver for productivity later in life. Making better choices, faster. Confusion and complexity, they're the enemies of good decision-making.
Well, always.
Especially for people managing complex financial portfolios or, multi-generational family dynamics. That complexity can be crippling.
And reasoning AI transforms that dynamic by imposing machine logic onto that human complexity. It takes confusion and turns it into clarity. Overwhelm, which, often just halts action, becomes actionable order.
I see.
Chaos, which paralyzes strategy, is synthesized into defined next steps and probabilities.
So functions as a powerful decision amplifier.
Exactly. It processes the extreme complexity. It does the heavy lifting of analysis and synthesis, so the user can focus on the human element, the application, the action, the relationship impact.
It provides the necessary context and risk analysis. It doesn't just tell you what to do.
No.
It provides the robust reasoning behind the top 3 options, including all the trade-offs, which is what the boomer generation, so focused on context and nuance, really craves. They don't want to be told what to do. They want the data to reason their own choice.
And that leads to the third outcome, which often goes unstated but is, I think, the most profound psychological benefit, and that is feeling abundance, mental first. The source material is very clear about this. This mental shift comes before any financial gain.
The initial abundance is mental.
Yes. When a senior realizes I am not alone in thinking through my life, my business, or my next critical move, that realization just dissolves the isolation of high-stakes decisions.
The feeling of supported thinking. It dissolves the inherent isolation that often accompanies big life decisions or entrepreneurial endeavors later in life. It's the sense that you have a tireless, objective partner available 204/7 to just hash out the details.
And that mental clarity, that sense of a co-pilot, is the foundation from which all other forms of abundance, including financial, relational, and purpose-driven, can spring forth. You're using the AI to structure your inner world before you attempt to structure your outer world.
That mental clarity sounds incredible, but if we're talking about critical life decisions, financial planning, medical choices, strategic investments, we have to talk about safety and reliability. How does Mike Hayes ensure this feeling of supported thinking doesn't lead to relying on one potentially biased or, hallucinating source?
That's the absolutely necessary bridge question. To achieve this balanced, safe reasoning, the source material introduces a structured operational model called the faucet methodology.
The faucet.
Yeah, and it addresses the inherent risks of relying on a single AI system and ensures that the machine reasoning is always subjected to multiple cross-checks.
Okay, let's drill down into this faucet system, because it sounds like it's the practical safety net for this entire process.
The system is designed like a three-stage filter. The process starts with the handle turning on the water, checking in. This is the initial brain dump, where the user just empties their stream of consciousness, their concerns, messy, unorganized thought.
Just get it all out.
Get it all out. And you typically start with a robust, generalized system like Google's Gemini. It's safe, it's low stakes, and it excels at taking unstructured input and turning it into organized initial themes and questions. It's the starting point for your board of advisors meeting.
So Gemini acts as the initial secretary or synthesizer, kind of organizing the user's mental chaos into coherent bullet points. So what's the next stage?
Then comes the vital process of following up. Once those initial thoughts are synthesized and structured, the data moves to a tool designed for deep, private understanding, something like Notebook LM.
Notebook LM, okay.
And we specifically mention this tool because for a senior audience dealing with personal finances, legacy documents, or sensitive health data, security is paramount.
And why is Notebook LM the right tool for that sensitive follow-up step? What makes it different?
Because Notebook LM allows you to upload your own private documents, creating a secure, proprietary library. The AI works only within the context of your uploaded source material.
Ah, so it's not pulling from the whole internet.
No, it's a secure place to synthesize and cross-reference information without sharing sensitive details with the public web or general training data. It takes the rough structure from the initial check-in and refines it against the user's actual secure financial or personal reality. This creates the deep understanding needed to move forward with confidence.
So we've organized the thoughts, and we've refined them against our own secure documents. Now, the final crucial step, the network that ensures we avoid bias, which is the heart of the faucet.
Precisely. The final step is ChatGPT networking, which is the cross-checking phase. This means taking the structured, refined arguments you generated in the previous steps and running them across multiple distinct large language models, LLMs.
So not just ChatGPT.
No. You're using Claude, Perplexity, Copilot. You are asking your board of advisors to vote independently on the best direction.
You're seeking multiple perspectives on the same highly detailed input. Why is that so necessary?
Because different models have different training data, different guardrails, and different strengths. Claude might be better at philosophical nuance and emotional consideration.
Right.
Perplexity is phenomenal for objective, source-cited facts. Copilot, since it's integrated with Microsoft's enterprise tools, might provide a completely different business angle. So by consulting 3 or 4 distinct systems, the faucet, you ensure a balanced, multi-perspective view. You are never relying on a single AI's output, which gives the senior audience true control and safety.
This methodology is not just a technological process. It's a framework for achieving reliable wisdom. It means the senior audience avoids feeling overwhelmed or vulnerable to relying on a single, potentially biased digital source.
It turns the complex AI ecosystem into a reliable, structured support system.
The Board of Advisors in action.
The goal here is simple. If you are going to base life-changing decisions on AI reasoning, that reasoning has to be reliable, secure, and cross-validated. The faucet ensures that, turning that messy crude oil into high-octane, usable wisdom.
So this shift to prioritizing deep reasoning over simple answers is really what defines the next phase for the senior generation. And Mike Hayes didn't just label them, he gave them an identity that's reflective of their potential. They are the AI bloomers.
The AI bloomers, I love that term. It refers to baby boomers who are stepping into the first true era of AI reasonability.
The first true era.
Yeah, this is the era where AI is conversational and powerful enough to actually meet their specific needs. It's about using technology as a superpower to grow more reasonable relationships, make better decisions, and express their personal power in ways that were kind of locked away before.
So they're blooming again.
They are blooming again, just later in life, with technology finally serving as a true amplifier of their experience.
And this identity is rooted not just in personal development, but in, well, undeniable economic reality, which is the foundation of their power. The sources highlight that boomers are not aging out. They are actively aging into their most empowered chapter.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are the undisputed financial juggernaut of the American and global economy.
That's a crucial point, and it's delivered so clinically in the data, but you have to pause and reflect on the gravity of the number. Boomers control a staggering 50% to 70% of all U.S. household wealth.
50 to 70%.
Just think about that number for a moment. That's not just retirement savings. That's the entire financial backbone of the country, controlling a minimum of half of all assets.
When you put it that way, this isn't just about making some niche product for seniors. This is an economic accelerant. Their decisions move markets.
We are the market.
When we talk about economic impact, boomers are the ultimate decision makers, and amplifying their reasoning is amplifying the engine that already runs the economy.
Exactly. And let's look at the specific strengths detailed in the notes. They are the largest group of homeowners, representing massive, stable assets. They're consistently noted as the most charitable generation, meaning they control a significant portion of philanthropic capital.
Right.
They're the most experienced buyers, the most loyal customers, and critically, the most stable investors. When AI amplifies this existing financial power through better reasoning, the ripple effect is just immense.
Now, let's get to the core of why they are thriving faster with AI than younger, digitally native generations. The reasonability gap.
This is the interesting part.
Younger generations are undeniably faster on the keyboard, quicker to adopt new interfaces. But the source material argues that boomers have a strength in mind that AI deeply depends on.
And the source material is very specific here, and it really counters the common belief that speed wins. Boomers were trained in skills that AI systems need to be truly effective in complex reasoning tasks. Nuance, context, common sense thinking, practical experience, and relationship building.
So all the soft skills.
The non-digital inputs that transform raw machine data into usable wisdom.
But wait, isn't that a little idealistic? I mean, younger generations have been trained on prompts and digital interfaces since childhood. Are we sure that a 70-year-old who might be digitally hesitant is naturally going to provide clearer, better context than a 25-year-old software engineer who is using these tools daily?
That's a necessary challenge. And the argument is not that they are better coders or prompters, it's that they are superior context providers. The key insight here is revolutionary. AI doesn't reward speed. AI rewards clarity and complexity of context. If a 25-year-old gives a fast but vague prompt, the AI output will be fast and vague.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Pretty much. But boomers, having spent decades navigating complex corporate structures, multi-generational family dynamics, or high-stakes business deals, they just naturally explain their situations better. They understand the necessary backstory, the political subtext, the hidden variables.
So the boomers' input is structurally richer, even if it takes them a bit longer to type it out. They provide the necessary relationship intelligence and the deep context that allows the AI to tap that crude oil of reasoning effectively.
Precisely. We're seeing a fusion occurring, the core of reasonability. Boomers bring the human reason, the story, the context, the wisdom. AI brings the machine reasoning, the speed, the processing, the analysis.
And together.
Together, they create a compound power that's far greater than either could achieve alone. This partnership means seniors are not struggling to catch up to technology. They are providing the single most valuable, non-replicable input the technology needs to function optimally at a strategic level.
And this capability naturally ties into their inherent relationship superpower. I mean, boomers grew up in an era before screens replaced conversation.
Right, they actually talk to each other.
They mastered skills essential to human connection, which AI can now just amplify.
They learned how to read people, listen actively, build trust, collaborate face-to-face. These skills are the bedrock of influence and connection. And AI doesn't seek to replace these skills. It enhances them logarithmically by handling the logistics and amplification of human connections.
How does AI enhance these deeply human soft skills? Can you give us some concrete examples of that logistical enhancement?
Well, it handles memory and logistics. Imagine a retired executive running a consulting business. AI can help them prepare better for conversations by synthesizing everything they know about a client past communications, project goals, personal interests they mentioned 6 months ago that you'd forget.
Right, the little detail.
The little details. It helps personalize outreach, making follow-ups feel thoughtful and consistent. If the human goal is to nurture 10 relationships, the machine assistant ensures the consistency, context, and flawless execution of the outreach logistics.
So the human wisdom focuses on the meaning and the empathy of the relationship, and the machine reasoning handles the maintenance and the context retrieval. That removes the high friction of all that busy work.
And it leads directly to relational abundance. These are deep, meaningful human connections, sustained and deepened, just powered by AI clarity. It allows boomers, who often cherish relationship capital more than cash, to become relationship giants, with a digital assistant ensuring perfect consistency and comprehensive context.
Finally, let's look at the emotional and psychological drivers behind this adoption. What do baby boomers really want, and how does AI meet those specific desires without friction? The source identifies 5 core desires that AI directly fulfills.
And they are profound desires that really define the post-retirement stage of life. Boomers want to stay relevant, stay connected, stay valuable, stay independent, and stay prosperous.
Let's break those down individually, because the mechanism by which AI fulfills each one is the key to understanding this blooming. First, stay relevant. How does AI ensure relevance for a generation that's transitioning out of their primary careers?
Well, relevance often means having access to the current conversation and translating a lifetime of knowledge into a format the current generation can actually consume. AI helps a retired leader synthesize 40 years of industry knowledge into a structured, marketable online course outline, but complete with marketing copy tailored to a younger audience. The AI handles the formatting and the distribution channel selection, allowing the human to focus purely on the content and wisdom, ensuring they're not only relevant but highly sought after.
Next, stay connected. We talked about the relationship superpower, but how does AI bridge that inherent generational communication gap?
It adapts. AI can help draft correspondence that respects different generational communication styles. If a boomer wants to connect with their Gen Z grandchild, the AI can help translate a complex emotional message into a concise, direct, digital native format without losing the core sentiment.
That's fascinating.
It reduces the friction of cross-generational communication and makes consistent connection just effortless.
Then there's stay valuable. After a long career, so many people struggle with finding new ways to contribute meaning.
And value comes from contribution. AI helps boomers realize their latent value. Think of the box of notes, the disorganized files, the years of expertise that often just sits in a garage. AI can take that disorganized box and structure it instantly into a book outline, a podcast series, or a set of business notes for a nonprofit.
It turns potential value into expressed, packaged value.
Yes, and that reaffirms their importance in society.
The fourth is highly critical for this demographic: stay independent. This desire often clashes with the increasing technological complexity of daily life.
Independence means control over one's own environment, and AI reduces friction in daily life that often threatens that control. Managing health questions, complex travel logistics, or dealing with digital bureaucracy becomes frictionless.
How so?
For example, AI can analyze complex terms of service or insurance documents and translate them into simple, actionable bullet points. This allows the senior to make informed decisions without needing to hire a specialist or rely on a younger relative. This preserves autonomy and control.
And finally, stay prosperous. While they control immense wealth, maintaining that wealth requires constant vigilance and strategic foresight.
This is where the reasoning comes full circle. AI acts as that board of advisors for financial planning. It runs constant what-if scenarios on investment choices, tax strategies, and legacy planning. It provides the rationale and the trade-offs for every single financial move, ensuring they maintain control over their legacy and prosperity, not just for themselves, but for their families.
So this new generation of conversational AI is really the first technology designed to meet them exactly where they are. It's conversational, relational, thoughtful, and human in its presentation.
Absolutely.
It allows them to achieve all 5 of those desires without the typical technology friction or the embarrassment often associated with learning new tech.
It's the tool that respects and releases their latent wisdom, allowing them to bloom again with renewed confidence and strategic purpose.
So we've established the why, the immense advantage and opportunity presented by the AI bloomer's identity. Now, let's transition into the how. This is the practical roadmap, the guide for any listener, really, regardless of age, who wants to move from just asking for answers to leveraging AI reasoning for profound clarity and strategic abundance.
This roadmap is the step-by-step guide to tapping that crude oil reservoir we discussed earlier. It is fundamentally about changing the quality of the interaction you have with the machine, recognizing that AI is a reflective surface. It just throws back the clarity you provide it.
Step 1 is about shifting the prompt paradigm. Talk, don't type. And it's not just about using voice commands, though that certainly helps. It means we need to stop asking AI for answers and start asking it to reason with us.
It's a subtle but profoundly challenging change in user intent.
Yeah.
Instead of treating the AI like a high-speed search bar, you need to invite it into the deep thinking process. You present it with a messy problem and ask for a structured process, not a final answer.
Let's contrast a bad prompt with a good one. A low-value matchstick prompt might be something like, what should I do with my retirement funds?
That's a terrible prompt. You're just going to get a general textbook answer. A high-value lighthouse prompt, one that invites the AI deeper into the reservoir, would be something like, think this through with me step by step.
Start with that.
Start with that. Then, I have a mix of assets, including real estate and a 401k. I want to retire in 5 years, but I'm concerned about inflation impacting my income stream. What are my top 3 options for maximizing stable income? What are the specific trade-offs of each? And what data points do I need to research further to make a final decision?
That prompt doesn't ask for a final product. It asks for a structured process, step-by-step thinking, and an analysis of consequences, risks, and next steps. You're forcing the AI to show its work.
The difference is accountability and depth. When you ask it to reason step by step, the AI is compelled to provide a transparent, reasoned rationale. And this clarity allows you, the human reasoner, to interrogate the machine reasoning more effectively. It turns the interaction into a collaborative analysis rather than a request for a command.
Step 2 is critical for success. Explain yourself first. This is where we maximize that reasonability gap advantage we talked about. The quality of the output is entirely dependent on the quality of the context input.
Right, and we've defined the user's identity in this step as the reasonability storytelling explainer. You have to provide the story. The clearer the context, the nuance, the constraints, and the identity the user gives the AI, the clearer the path and future the AI gives back. Machine reasoning needs human context to achieve relevance.
Let's use a highly practical example. If a listener is attempting to plan a major multi-generational family event, they shouldn't just ask, plan a family reunion.
No, they need to embed context. I am the family elder, known for being organized but slightly traditional. I have $15,000 to spend, and the goal is to bring together 50 people ranging from ages 3 to 75. A key constraint is that my daughter and sister are currently estranged, and the goal is family healing, not conflict.
That's a huge piece of context.
A huge piece.
Okay.
We need 3 location options that cater to low-mobility seniors and high-energy toddlers. Think this through with me, acknowledging the sensitive relational constraints.
That deep context allows the AI to apply its machine reasoning using the human reason you provided, the emotional and relational constraints. And that leads to far more relevant, nuance, and actionable output that addresses the real-world problem, not just the logistical one.
Exactly. You explain yourself clearly to the AI, and the AI will explain the world and your options clearly back to you.
Step 3 is about transforming the relationship. Treat AI as a co-pilot, not a gadget. This addresses the danger of treating AI as just a quick fix, which leads to those surface-level interactions.
Right.
The source material warns against visiting AI like a vending machine, where you put in a coin and expect an instant solitary reward. The goal is to walk with your AI an ongoing, continuous partnership.
This means integrating the AI into the daily flow of your thinking, your planning, your execution. If you ask the AI to map out options for a side business, you don't just take the answer and leave. You follow up the next day.
Keep the conversation going.
Keep it going. Based on the 3 options you gave me yesterday, I decided on option B. Now help me draft the first 10 steps for execution. You're maintaining a continuous context, which builds a massive knowledge repository that serves as your own customized reasoning engine.
When AI is genuinely treated as a co-pilot, someone sitting next to you on a long journey, constantly advising and cross-checking, that's when the exponential abundance shows up. Abundance in ideas, clarity, creativity, education, relationships, productivity.
All of it.
It's a foundational shift in how you operate, restoring that sense of control this generation really craves.
Then we get to the core practical applications within the boomer generation's life goals, combining the simplification of life with the amplification of wisdom.
Step 4. Using AI to simplify life. This is the immediate, tangible benefit for reducing the friction in daily life that often becomes overwhelming later in life.
Simplification is so key for maintaining independence. Imagine a boomer needing to learn a new, complicated piece of smart home technology, or understand the latest changes to Medicare.
It can be a nightmare.
A total nightmare. But instead of spending hours reading manuals or feeling frustrated, they can upload the PDF or link to their AI library and ask, "Explain the 3 most critical things I need to know about this new device," in the style of a friendly, patient teacher focusing only on the steps a 70-year-old would use.
AI reduces the cognitive load of navigating modern complexity, giving back the time and mental energy that was previously lost to frustration. And this extends to things like travel planning, handling complex insurance documents, or achieving financial clarity by having AI analyze complex legal language.
It restores time and control, which are the most valuable assets at this stage of life. The machine reasoning handles the bureaucracy, so the human reasoner can focus on living.
And finally, step 5, amplify wisdom. This is where the boomer's lifetime of experience becomes scalable and their desire to stay valuable is met.
This amplification validates their life's work and ensures their legacy. AI helps them share their wisdom, whether through published works, structured podcasts, curated family memories, or packaged business insights that younger generations desperately need access to.
So, for example, a retired engineer might have spent 40 years solving highly specific structural problems. That knowledge is valuable, but it's inaccessible. It's just in his head.
Right, it's stuck there.
AI can help him structure those memories into a series of case studies or instructional modules, turning that tacit knowledge into explicit, shareable content.
And this roadmap, from changing the prompt to amplifying their life experience, results in a massive personal transformation for the AI bloomers. They move from fear of technology to confidence in their partnership with it. From confusion in the digital world to clarity in their strategic choices, and most importantly, from isolation in their decision-making to deep, supported connection.
It creates a renewed sense of purpose, powered by technology that respects and utilizes their greatest asset, their immense human reason.
And that brings us to the close of today's deep dive conversation into the rise of the AI bloomers. We've demonstrated that the true goldmine of AI is not the speed of its answers, but the structure and reliability of its reasoning.
We've established the powerful and symbiotic partnership. Baby boomers are the financial engine of the global economy, providing that invaluable context, and AI is the reasoning engine of the future, providing the scalable analysis.
Right.
Together, they unlock a new source of relational and economic abundance.
They are not the last pre-digital generation struggling to catch up. They are, in fact, the first AI generation, a group uniquely positioned to combine a lifetime of human wisdom, nuance, and common sense with the conversational, analytical power of machine reasoning.
We want to leave you with the core identity statement defined in our sources. The AI bloomers are the bridge generation between human wisdom and machine reasoning. AI is not their replacement, it is the infrastructure that supports and expresses their superpower.
And we encourage you, regardless of your generation, to reflect deeply on your own reasonability gap. If clarity, context, and detailed explanation are what AI rewards, what critical aspect of your personal story, your unique human reason, or your deep context are you currently failing to explain clearly to the technology?
That is the crucial question that shifts you from matchstick thinking to lighthouse navigation. When you learn to articulate that human context, that necessary complex story, that is where the next level of personal power, strategic clarity, and profound abundance lies for you.
Start by asking your AI co-pilot not for an answer, but to reason with you step by step. That shift in intention is the first step toward tapping your own goldmine.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
That wraps up another deep dive with our AI team. You know, I often say we are living in the time of our lives. And I hope today you heard exactly why. We are just getting older. We're getting amplified. When you use these tools to clarify the confusion, whether it's with your car, your health, or your business, you're doing something powerful for your life. You are turning noise into reason. You are taking control. But don't let the learning stop here. To keep this abundance flowing, I need you to take one simple step right now. Go to AIpodcastlistening.com, check in with us, grab the next episode, and remember, you have the wisdom of a lifetime. Now you have the power to share it. I'm Mike Hayes. Let's keep growing reasonable relationships together.